My name is Janine Valerie Logan, and I'm a certified nurse midwife. I work on the west side of Chicago, but I also do a lot of community activism and birth work on the south side. Having this grant opportunity would be so amazing for folks across the city, especially BIPOC birth workers, as this will give people an opportunity to find autonomy and access in spaces that don't currently exist. I know a lot of people have been failed by the institutions and the systems that are dictating how and when we give birth and how we use our bodies. And this will be a space where people can get some kind of freedom and liberation to engage in birth, not only how they want to, but in a safe way and prepared way.
Awesome. That was great.
So my name is Isis Rose. I am a doula, student midwife. I wear a lot of hats. I'm also a podcaster. And I believe that a training like Breech Without Borders is really important because the women in my community don't have a lot of options for vaginal breech birth. And I believe that having more education and support around supporting breech babies will help to mitigate those fears and allow providers to feel more comfortable serving breech babies and mothers. There are no home birth midwives in Central Illinois, and I hope to bring my skill set and my knowledge to the region and hopefully support home birth families of all types, including those that have breech babies. As I'm sure people who are invested in birth work know, especially in the Black community, there's a huge disparity in maternal and infant mortality. And I believe that having more education around breech birth can mitigate those numbers as well. I think that having scholarships available to Black and Indigenous and other people of color is really important because we are the people who can best serve our own communities. And so when there are more providers that have real skills, much like the midwives of the past that we hail from, when we have those real skill sets in our communities, we can continue to mitigate poor birth outcomes, and we can serve families that look like us, which is really important. I think it's really important to make sure that we are diversifying the workforce of midwifery. Unassisted birth is also on the rise in Black communities as well. So I think having a Breech Without Borders program that specifically invests in Black and Indigenous communities can definitely support us in a number of ways.
Hi, I'm Alexis. I serve the Black community in Chicago and the Chicagoland area. So I really came to this training to gain more insight and to become comfortable at breech births. I learned a lot, and I believe it'll be beneficial to the community because there's a lot of misconceptions about breech births. And this was really informative and really helpful. And I hope that I can use it in the future when I become a midwife.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Solis, and I am a nurse midwife that serves the Chicagoland area and Northwest Indiana. And one reason why I decided to come to the Breech Without Borders seminar was for the fact that in my midwifery education, it was just brushed over, and the thinking behind everything is that breeches are for C-sections, or reserved for C-sections. And sometimes breeches do happen. And so I found this seminar to be very insightful, very informative. Now I'm confident in knowing on how to manage a breech birth. And I think more midwives need to know this, especially in areas that are underserved, more people of color. I believe everybody would benefit from this education. And so surprises do happen. And if you're not trained or confident in what you're doing, then you're unsure what the outcomes would be. So I find that to get the word out, to get communities who really don't have the education behind it to be confident in this, I think this would help them. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not just the cities, it's the suburbs. It's not just everybody doesn't have access to the state-of-the-art medical care. People live in rural areas. People live, far away from major cities. And so this would be a way to breach the gap in education and help prepare the birth workers that are there and present. Oh, I really love this workshop. I'm glad that it was brought and that I had the opportunity to be here.
Hi, I'm Rachel Harris, and I'm a certified nurse midwife providing home birth services at Midwives Care. And I am here at Breech Without Borders because I know that eventually, as happens to many of us in the obstetric world, I will be faced with an unexpected breech baby. And it is the duty of every provider who provides obstetrics to be skilled in the art of delivering the vaginal breech. Also, 1 in 5 of my ladies that I serve is a lady of color. And it is especially important because of the high mortality rate in that population to try to diminish the primary cesarean rate. One way to decrease the primary cesarean rate would be if obstetric providers were to offer the option of vaginal breech delivery.
Hi, my name is Sarah Simmons, and I'm a certified nurse midwife serving the Metro Chicago area. And I have a completely home birth practice. And so the reason I came to this workshop is because I want to be familiar with the breech maneuvers in case an undiagnosed breech would come up in my practice, but also because I think the awareness of the safety of breech birth needs to be known, and people need to be trained in it. So I'm excited to bring information about this workshop back to Chicago, maybe get them to do some grand rounds in various institutions. And my motivation for that is simply because I'm very upset about the unnecessary cesareans that are being done in our institutions and the impact that has on women, and especially women of color who have a very high maternal mortality rate in this country. I think that it needs to be addressed in a very drastic way.
My name is Star August. I'm here in Chicago, and I am a student midwife, a CPM, working to try to bring home births here to people in the Chicago area. I think it's important for us to have the training just in case we do have a mom that presents with a breech. It's important to be able to know how to handle it. And I feel like a lot of women are gravitating towards home births who do have a breech just because of the limitations on a person being able to have a breech birth in a hospital setting. I think definitely it is important, particularly to our community. And I'm speaking of, obviously communities that are underserved. I feel like a lot of women of color are not choosing to go to the hospital because of the high statistics of us dying and our babies dying. So a lot of us are choosing home births. And so I feel like, once again, it's important for us to be trained to, know how to intervene if there is an emergency or a situation pops up. We should be able to at least have the knowledge or the warehouse how to address the issue, making it as safe as possible at home for mom and baby. You might be in a situation and it's good to know how to handle this. It could be literally a life or death situation. So I think it's just important.
Okay, my name is Edith Atoewe Baker. I'm a student midwife from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I am apprenticing in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin at Authentic Birth Center. The training was awesome. I feel so confident. I'm excited to do breech births. I'm not as scared as I was before about breech births coming in now. I feel like I have some of the maneuvers that I need for breech births, and I'm really, really excited. So I believe that it's so important to have the skills necessary to do a breech birth, just like in any type of training, going through as training as a midwife or training as a doula, just being able to have the skills and the background knowledge behind what you need to be prepared for when having a vaginal breech birth. I did a lot of my apprenticeship in Michigan, in Flint, Michigan, and I also worked with a Mennonite midwife in northern Michigan, and we did a couple of out of hospital Amish births, and a lot of the midwives are not skilled or not trained in breech, and I think it's so necessary for breech births that there is an attendant who knows how to manage breech. I also volunteered in Cap Haitian Haiti with Mama Baby Haiti, and that is where I seen my first breech birth, and I was not competent and not confident in doing the breech, and we actually transported mom, and we could have done a vaginal breech birth with, but after the breech training, I'm so much more confident, and I feel like I could have done it. I think it's so important that more midwives in underserved communities and have that training. So, thank you so much, Breech Without Borders, for training me and teaching me all of the things. And I am just so excited to bring back the things that I learned to my community.